hustle. Forgive me. So sorry, I'm a little bit late. Was chatting with the tribe. It's the new year and it's Monday. Double jeopardy. Dun, 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 dun. So what you're looking at here, guys, is my wedding. This is January 4th, our 16th wedding anniversary. And here is my husband and I. Welcome, everybody. Welcome, YouTube. Welcome, public Facebook. How are you? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Happy New Year. Here's hoping that 2021 will be a lot more fun than 2020. But this is wanted to just start with this so that if you ever want to pop in and take a look at this picture, you can. This is up at the Hans Faden Winery. It's a winery where you do an elopement package and there are only 6 guests, and that includes the wedding couple. So there you go. How are you? And welcome. Lots to chat about today, but I'm not going to spend a long time because it's my anniversary. So I'm not going to spend too much time today, but I am going to probably spend at least a half an hour, maybe 45 minutes, just because it's you. Okay, so there you go. Just wanted to give you that quick little peek at the anniversary pictures. Wanted you to see that. And if you are interested in seeing more, we did quite a bit. I'm just gonna just give me 1 minute here, guys. Trying to find me here. Here we go. There it is. If you want to see more, my patrons, my tribe gets to see more. We actually walked through the wedding photo album and kind of had a memory lane talking about, and I showed several pictures on that. So here's where you go to learn about it. Your voice matters. And I would love the opportunity to have you as part of the tribe. It's not expensive. It's $5 a month. And I do 2 Facebook Lives before. I do a Facebook Live on Monday before this one, and again before the AMA on Fridays. And then I have a special Zoom call exclusive for patrons, all for $5 a month. So I hope you take a look at this and join me. And so how is the new year shaping up for you? Are you getting kind of excited? Are you trepidatious? What are you feeling? How are you feeling about it? For me, I'm a little bit excited because I am starting out with a positive attitude. For those of you joining us on YouTube, I want you to know that one of the things that I want to do this year is to create better content, more content on YouTube. And for those of you who would like to go to YouTube, absolutely. It's not even, it's free to do YouTube, and I'm going to be putting a few other things on YouTube. I'm going to update that channel. I still am on YouTube, and many of you who have looked at my YouTube channels know that I'm kind of like the mummy. I'm kind of dragging one foot behind me. And that's because I'm looking to learn the platform better. And this is the year that we're going to get that platform up and running. So that's one of the things I really want to do, is to create more content, both on the Patreon page and on the YouTube channel. So I encourage you to go over to YouTube if you want to pop over there and subscribe and hit the little bell. I appreciate it as I work to get more and more of you to gather with me in some venue or another. I would appreciate that very, very much. And here's where you can go to do that. And that's what's coming in the new year. We're already working on, because I think I mentioned to you that I had trouble posting to YouTube. And so, because it's me. I am someone who was not raised in the social media venue. In fact, yesterday I was very rebellious. It was family day, and so my husband wanted to work a little bit on the computer, so he did, but I binge watched Cobra Kai. I'm a big Karate Kid fan. I love I loved that genre. I loved that time. Loved everybody who was a part of that. Thought those movies were great. Pat Morita, one of my favorite actors. And so I binge watched it. And there is a sequence where the guy who is the bully, who was the bully, but now he's going through his own journey. No spoilers. It's on Netflix, so check it out if you're a Karate Kid fan. But he has no idea how to even use a computer, let alone get on a Facebook or an Instagram or a YouTube. He's just completely all thumbs, and that's me. So that's why I bring that up. I'm just like, don't just so as I've said to you before, if you're like me and that's a situation for you, that you have to exercise a little patience with yourself. We can sometimes be patient with everybody but ourselves, can't we? And so I am working to, one of the things my husband said was, even if you can't upload to YouTube, create content. And I think I mentioned before that I did create content, but I didn't categorize it well enough to find it. So now I have content all over the place. And if I want to share something with you on YouTube or even on my Patreon page, I am having trouble finding where it is. Ah! The screaming painting. Ah! So this is something that I want to get better at this year and really optimize the channel. I don't need to be a YouTube star, but I do want to share with you the insights into my life. And I want to do them in such a way that I'm not jumping through hoops and performing and being inauthentic like a circus dog, but more just kind of sharing with you what's happening in my life as I create stuff, whether it's for myself or whether it's for a client, or whether I'm traveling. I want to share that with you on a couple of platforms. Do it better. So, and then I celebrated what worked last year. And what worked last year was my camera system, where, pardon me, I'm able to show you some of the things like my brand new date book. I'm a date book person. I like stuff to be on the on paper. I also kind of put it in my phone, but I have to be honest with you. I want to be able to grab it quickly and open it. One of the things that is very important about me using a paper date book, this is my previous one right here. And when people are trying to push into me about my time, I need to show them that I'm busy. So I simply open to the page and say, busy. I don't need to, I can't show you on my phone, but here you get the idea that if someone wants to get my time, I say busy, and they get it because they go, holy moly, right? Look at her packed calendar. And this is the way it always is. So I like this because it says in one snapshot that how busy I get every day of the year. I'm not one who sits around and binge watches anything. So between Christmas and New Year's, I got rebellious and started to binge watch. But I spoke about what I felt worked in 2020, and that was the system that I am showing you right now, which is the various camera system. This one here and this one here. How you doing? And also the one that showed you my calendar at the calendar on this table here. I'll show you again. So now as I start to move forward and give you some tastes of my trainings on YouTube, and then full classes on my Patreon page, I'll be able to show you my hands and what I'm doing here, as well as talk to you here, as well as show you here and put a picture in a picture here. So that's what worked this year. If you go back and you look at my January broadcast, you'll see that this that you're seeing did not happen, because I drew a line in the sand and said, I'm going to optimize my lives. And this is how we did it. If you're curious about how I did it, feel free to ask me and send me an email or a text or whatever. Before I forget, we're going to do an AMA on the 8th. That's this Friday. We're going to return with the AMAs. Ask me anything. So if this is something you want to ask me about, what is this system? How did I do it? We've got a great microphone here. I'm learning all about sound, visual, etc., etc. The idea is to bring you the best experience possible as I move forward and start to do teaching videos and a few things that I have in my head that I'd like to share with you guys. So one of the things I got, so let's talk about some of the things I listed on here. Yes, it's my anniversary. Woohoo! And I'm very excited. 16th wedding anniversary. And how are we going to celebrate it when we're locked down here in Los Angeles? This is where I live. We're going to have dinner. We're working on creating a dinner. But here's the sad thing. Many of the restaurants that we celebrate at are either locked down or they're gone. So the restaurant, Bistro Garden in the Studio City area, which is where my husband proposed to me, is no longer. And that's a heartbreaker because that was a place I used to like to go on our anniversary when we had to keep it simple. And that's not possible. We can't do it. So, and we have to stay at home. We have a strong stay-at-home order. So we're not going to be gallivanting all over. We're going to stay right. We're going to stay put. And that's fine because we're in each other's bubble. Yay! Be weird to have an anniversary if I was out of town. And luckily, because of the pandemic, I'm in town. I mean, most everybody is in town, and I did not travel. I did not, it's bad here. It's bad. So for us, we're going to put together a dinner. We found a restaurant that we've never been to. So we're going to try it out and we're going to make it lovely. We're going to open a nice bottle of red wine. We're going to have a nice meal, candlelight, and celebrate each other. The good news is my husband is back to work here at home. He is working remotely this week, which is great because I can spend my anniversary with him. He doesn't have to go into the office, which is good. Also, I'm an actress and a voiceover artist as well as a puppeteer. And so I won't be going in or even being able to audition for a lot of the film industry stuff because they're locking down. They're in the process now of shutting all of that down. I think everyone's line in the sand in Southern California is that we have to get a handle on this pandemic and move forward. The vaccine is wonderful, but it's going to take a long time. It's probably going to be about 10 months before we can stop wearing masks and stop social distancing. I'm thinking many doctors are saying November, December. So I'm trying to wrap my head around that because every time I go outside, it's like preparing for war. When can I go? What's the best time to go when there's nobody around? Et cetera, et cetera. If there's things I must do, I have to plan for them very strategically. It's like pulling out a map and saying, as you make your route for a destination, this is any destination I do, I have to do this because I don't want to be around a lot of people. Down here, the reports are saying 1 in 5. 1 in 5 people. That just is unsatisfactory. So I got pith helmet on and teeth gritted, and I'm gonna get that done. In fact, just give me 1 minute. I need to write to my let me just write a few. Forgive me for doing this on air, but I have someone in my bubble that does that is sweet enough to bring us groceries because we are considered, well, not me as much, but my husband, we're considered high risk. So I have to be careful about that. But I did get Disney Plus for Christmas. My husband said, let's light this candle and get Disney Plus. And I'm loving it, guys. I'm not loving it the way I thought I would love it, which is a surprise to me, really. I love the Marvel 616, is it called? Where they talk about what it takes to create a comic book from like concept art to story. Oh gosh, that is so cool. I never read comic books when I was a kid. They just weren't my jam. And I I like film and TV. Film, movies, and television are my thing. So even in the art world, I have many artists who know the artists really well, who know the history of artists, who can tell you by looking at it certain, like they'll look at a painting or something and they'll be able to tell you who did it. I can tell you some, like a Pollock, Picasso, a Stella, a Rembrandt, a Van Gogh, but I'm not deep, deep, deep into the art world, especially new and contemporary artists. I just don't know that information. And it's same with Disney. I'm not deep, deep, deep into the Disney history. I count on you guys for that. I follow a lot of podcasts, Disney from you guys. I follow your pages a little bit. I'll peek in. Not a lot on Facebook, though. I don't spend a lot of time on social media because I have work to do. I don't watch a lot of TV because I have work to do. I'm one of these people. You saw my calendar. That is my life. I'm really working hard. So this year, the battles that can happen are on the one page. I have to close out 2020. Surprise! We all have to close out 2020. So this is no big deal. You got to figure out your taxes. If you file short form, that's a yay for you. But if you do long form like I do, because I do have a business, so it's going to take, I have a bookkeeper that helps me, but I'm behind. So I have to make sure I get her the materials she needs to close out 2020. That's business work that my childlike heart doesn't like to do, but I got to do it. Sales tax is another thing I've got to do. Ugh, tiresome, but I got to do it. I also have to check things that I was supposed to be paid for. I've got to follow up and say, hey, can you get that check in the mail, or when will that check be in the mail? All of that 2020 stuff that, in my opinion, isn't fun. Fun would be painting. Fun would be sculpting for me, drawing, so on and so forth. So between Christmas and New Year's, I rest. I force myself to rest. It's not easy. In fact, yesterday, I did some work. I did a couple of sketches that I needed to do. I'm designing a new pin, and news on that later, but upcoming on that later. Not later today, but later. I worked on that. I worked on my pin and finally got it to my dear friend and pin maker, Joshua Schaefer. He's been begging me to get off my duff and do this sketch, and I finally did it yesterday. So I did a little bit of stuff, Also in my master bedroom, my husband wanted to vacuum. So I tidied up around in there so that he could vacuum without problems. Yeah, I mean, do you notice how it's kind of like a Jenga game where it goes kaboom, 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 and you're like, the family wants to talk. They want to chat about what's ever on their mind, need to vacuum, need to do dishes, need to clean the house. Really be great to get the carpet clean. Really be great to clean the garage. Really be great, sales tax, taxes, ghosts, hitchhiking ghosts, which, by the way, are coming. I'll talk to you about that in just a minute. But like Jenga blocks, it just keeps stacking up. Plus, your heart of hearts, I got some new paints for Christmas. I really would like to play with those. So it's this battle. Welcome to January, where it's the inner conflicts of, you should be doing this. I don't want to do that. I want to paint and draw. Well, you have to do it. As well as your normal chores, like making dinner, feeding the dog, walking the dog, etc., which is a fun thing to do. But this is why between Christmas and New Year's, I just kind of relax and I watch some things. I watched documentaries on Disney Plus. I love watching shorts, especially short films, and especially from Pixar. So I spent a lot of time watching that. And then, yes, I know what you're waiting for. I binge watched The Mandalorian, and I don't know that I liked it as well as the first season. I have to be honest with you. I love you guys. There's a lot to love in second season. Don't get me wrong. I still think The Mandalorian is the best Star Wars saga I've seen in a while, but I also took a peek at Clone Wars because I watched that years ago, and it's nice to have it on Disney to watch it now because I don't retain a lot of things that I've watched if I haven't watched them in a long time. So, for example, let's take the movie The Titanic. I haven't watched The Titanic since it was released, and all I can tell you is I remember the end scene. I remember a scene in a car vehicle on the lower level. I remember dancing, and I remember how beautiful the models and effects were. But I don't remember much else. Couldn't remember the details. So it would be fun for me to watch it again because it would be like watching the movie for the first time for me. So this happens a lot with me that this is my situation. So I love seeing movies and TV. So to see Clone Wars again, it's like revisiting it. And I really, really like, I'm being told by my husband, who does a lot of reading of what's happening in the world of Star Wars. I like to be surprised. But my husband will say, hey, there's a character in there. She's got the headdress that's like this, and she's going to have a spin-off series, and the person who is directing that series is female. So I was like, because spin-off series, other sagas that pull from the original 3 stories, 4, 5, and 6, are what I've been praying for a very long time. I am done with seeing dead people. So by saying that, you know how I felt about the final sequence in The Mandalorian. And if you haven't seen it, I'm not going to spoil it for you, but I don't know. It didn't do it for me. My heart sank when I saw a green lightsaber. Let me just say that. It didn't pay off for me. But other areas did. I absolutely love the badass women in The Mandalorian. The women are just super tough, and I love them for it. I love each and every one of them, especially the wrestler who shoots with the big guns. And watching the behind the scenes, I loved hearing from her and her talking about how in season 1, she just picked up the Mandalorian and she carries him into the building, and they were going to help her with that, put him on a roller cart or something that would aid her in pulling him because he's a good sized guy. But she had no problem lifting him. And I just went, I love that. I love her. I'm a big fan of hers. And then the return of characters that I absolutely like. So there's a lot to love in The Mandalorian, although I didn't like everything. And if you were Favreau, basically you would say, I can't please all y'all, but he pleased me enough. I liked it enough. I just didn't like the big payoff. Just wasn't to my liking. But everything else I liked very much. There was a lot of things I liked very much. I also don't like seeing the Mandalorian's face. I'm a little confused with that because the helmet's coming off more often than not. And there's areas where once you take it off and someone sees your face, you're not supposed to be able to put it back on. See, I'm really kind of a rivet counter when it comes about the story you're telling me, because stories are my favorite thing. So I remember in season 1 when they talked about, once that helmet's off, you can't put it back on. If somebody sees your face, you're kind of, you're messed up. This is not good. But in the second season, they tend to do it. They tend to have forgotten that. And I don't think that's a spoiler, but that bothers me. And it bothers me because I read a story about the actor being upset because you don't see his face. But this actor is a very busy actor who plays his character. So leave the helmet on for The Mandalorian and show your face on all your other shows that you're doing, because he's doing several other shows. So just show your face on those. Plus, you're doing a great voiceover. I really like not seeing your face. No offense to you, but that is the whole purpose of being a Mandalorian. So I would love it if you stuck to that in the script. This is my opinion, of course, but I would love it if you stuck to that. Yeah. And then I noticed that there is a cartoon that I did not see before, Star Wars Rebels, I think. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm curious about that. I'm excited about that. I saw Soul, loved it. My husband watched it with me, and he said Pixar is back. So my husband was kind of feeling like Pixar lost their way in some of the films that they did previous to Soul, but is back with Soul. And I have to agree. I love Soul. I have watched it twice. I just think it is just super, just great. Just great. Just a great, if you haven't seen it, watch it. I did not like Mulan. I think the only thing that would have offended me more on Mulan was if I had to pay $30 to see that sucker. Because that really, that didn't do. The girl is magnificent. So I will say that, just in case. I don't want the actress to feel I thought her acting was poor. Her acting was very good. Her performances were wonderful. But the storyline, as usual with live action Disney, I'm sorry, live action Disney doesn't seem to be able to do a decent live action, with the exception of Cinderella, which was brilliant, but was that Kenneth Branagh, who seems to understand story better than most. That Cinderella was brilliant. It's my favorite live action. And it was the first, I believe. And I was excited to see other live actions if Disney would take the time to have the caring that they seem to have put in Cinderella. But alas, they haven't been. They really haven't been. And Mulan is no different. Mulan is very frustrating because she opens being a superhero. So I kind of was like, am I watching Marvel's Mulan as opposed to Mulan? In the animated version, which is one of my favorite films, she's a screw up. And we can identify with the screw up. Someone who's not quite fitting in the niche that her family says she must fit in. She doesn't fit, does she? And then she is catapulted into a situation where she's going to not fit even more. And she is a screw up. She's not strong. She doesn't know how to use a sword. But the one thing Mulan is, and what I love in my characters, is she's super smart. So she uses her brain throughout the animated film. And in this one, she's already a superhero. So she has no arc, as I call it. She has nowhere to go. She has nowhere to grow. In the animated version, it is very nice to have Crikey and Mushu. I didn't expect them in the live action version, but I really miss them. And because they help a girl who is feeling so lost, trying to be what she's not to save her father, that it just helps us to hear what she's thinking in a creative way in the animated version. And the bad guy is really evil in the animated version. And in the new one, we've got two bad guys. You wonder why one of them is even bothering with the other one, because they're so powerful. Why? So you ask that question. There's also an amazing transition where Mulan rides up to the very handsome commander, and she says, you listen to Ping, why won't you listen to Mulan? And this is after she has proven her ingenuity and her thought process. But back during that time in China, women were more preferred by the men to be seen and not heard. Okay? Be a wife. So do needlepoint and shut up, basically. I'm sorry. That's the way it was viewed during that dynasty, right? So to have the live action Mulan, they give that line to a guy, you don't buy it, because the guy is not going to all of a sudden, the entire army is not going to all of a sudden fall in love with her because she can do a few kicks and a few twirls. You see what I'm saying? It just, it's a very broken and mainly upsetting storyline. So I found it to be more of a drag than anything to watch, except that it's beautiful. The costumes are beautiful. The fabric is beautiful. The animals are beautiful. The scenery is beautiful. There's always something to find, and the actress does the best she can. But unfortunately, the script isn't strong enough. The story is weak, seriously weak, and a big null sign for me. Just no, just absolutely no. Not yeah. No. But like you all were encouraging me on Disney Plus, there's so many things to love on Disney Plus that really don't have a lot to do with the films. True, you can see some great Disney film content, but the stuff that Disney is posting that you can't see anywhere else is, I must say, phenomenal. Following the Imagineers is a lot of fun. I also like A Day at Disney. I think that's cute. My husband says it's probably something that they did in-house to kind of introduce people when they became Imagineers at Disney, or they became employees of Disney, that they would show this person, and this person would talk about the job that might be similar to the person who was now hired. I don't care. I love it. I love it. If you haven't seen it, one of my favorite is the diver who talks about how he maintains the submarine ride. I think I've watched that twice. I just think that is so cool. Can you imagine you love diving and now you have been a diver for 20 plus years and you've been diving in the submarine ride at Disneyland, Anaheim? I don't know. That's cool to me. That's very cool to me. That's more cool to me than being what I am, because I'm a model builder, I'm a designer, I'm a sculptor as an Imagineer. That's don't get me wrong. I design attractions. That's cool. But I love learning about things I don't know about. And it never occurred to me that there was a group of divers who work at the nighttime to make sure that ride is functioning well underwater. I'm telling you, that was seriously cool. And I love following that. They also follow a candy maker. And what is her life like? It's A Day at Disney, and it's so cute. If you haven't seen it, go see it because it's so amazing. I just love it. So this is kind of the stuff that I just jump into and just go crazy for. And I'm digging and digging and digging at Disney Plus to find more treasures to open up and learn about, because I love learning about people. On my Patreon page, I ask each and every tribe member to do a spotlight. Why? Because I want to know about you and your life. I want to see what little nuggets of joy you're going to share with me. One of the ladies I talk quite a bit about is a woman who I met during a Run Disney, and she has several Facebook pages. I'm speaking of Liz Reed. She has several Facebook pages about various things that she likes, and she really, her content, watching her create content is a way for me to do better. But she talked about her dream in life was being a good wife and a good mom, and that was cool. But then she drops that she is a black belt. What? I mean, you just get these things that you share are super exciting for me. When you share these things, it's just a lot of fun, to see what people have done, how they've done it. Janny G, she's a painter, but there's more to Janny than her paintings, and she's an amazing artist. But she talks about her journey as a young artist, as a growing artist, and she shares with you because she's in galleries all across Canada. She's in galleries, and she talks about what that's like. How did she do it? What does she do? And she paints anything and everything. Acrylics are her jam, but it's not just canvas and acrylics with Janny. She paints garbage bags. She paints trash cans. She paints vehicles. So cool. I'm telling you guys, the spotlight has been my greatest joy. We just honestly finished doing one with Jim Van Ostenbridge, and he talked about creating your own light show for the holidays. Who would have thought, right? Amazing. Nate shared his collection. He was one of the first. And he shared, how do you display a massive Disney collection? Now you have all these things that you love. How are some of the ways to display it and keep it from getting too dusty? Maybe not dust free, but too dusty. And one of the magical things we learned from Nate is that his husband, he walked through a room and we saw this box that cats were going in and out of. And we were like, oh my God, what's that? And it's his husband who designed the special box for cats. It was just amazing. It was just, you are all so amazing. That this is what I love about the Patreon page and learning about tribe members as you open up and you share with me the various things that you do, the various things that float, because we've got artists on the Patreon page, but it's not just for ones who paint and draw. It's for people who work with numbers. It's some people clean for a living, and the magic that they create by cleaning. It's just phenomenal. Some of the stuff that I see and we get to do. So I love the spotlights. And so we go back to Disney Plus. I love the Disney Plus spotlights on the various people and learning about the various people. Understand, as an Imagineer, I know a lot of these people. Okay. A lot of the stories that Imagineers tell, I have heard before, full disclosure, but I still like hearing them. And then I like to learn where I don't know, because as an Imagineer, we are an eclectic group, okay? We look like me. We look like Joe Rohde. You've seen Joe Rohde. Need I say more? We're not the clean-cut people that you see as cast members at Disneyland or Disney World. They are not allowed to be that, because there's a certain image that the parks want the cast members to have. So it's very interesting to learn about those cast members, because we go to Disneyland as Imagineers, but we're there to study rides and attractions. And we're there to learn about, certain attractions so that we can design other attractions for upcoming parks or expansions. Correct. So now but what we'd love to learn is about the Tom Nabbies of the world, who was the first Tom Sawyer at Disney World, and what was his life like? The voice of Bambi, what was his life like? What did it take to be the voice of Bambi? You know what I mean? He was 7. It's really just great stuff. I don't know if he's on Disney Plus, full disclosure, but when I first met him and he told me he was the voice of Bambi, I pretty much drove him crazy, because I said to him, Bambi's my favorite character. And I wrestled with him about story, because some people, and don't be upset or offended, but many people look at Disney as a job. Okay. They open, back in my day, we had a big, heavy portfolio, and we open up the portfolio. We look through the newspaper, or we have a headhunter. This is before the internet. Now we're looking through the internet. Maybe we're looking on LinkedIn. Maybe we're looking at other places for jobs. And all of a sudden you see Disney Imagineering hiring. What are they hiring? And you say, oh, there's what I want to do. Okay. And you go for it. In my case, I was working for the film industry when Disney did a call to action, asking people to apply if they were speedy, fast, and work for the film industry. Because in the film industry, usually what happens when you have to build things, okay, GhostBusters was done in a very short time. I did the Terror Dog and GhostBusters. Maybe some of you got to see or hear or see the podcast done by my friends Jim and Matt. They did a podcast on Ghostbusters, and I was interviewed last week for that. And we had to do it in a very short time. We only had a few months to do that. And that's usually what the film industry is about, at least at that time in the 80s when we shot stuff like this. It was fast. Okay, Captain EO was like 6 weeks. We did it in 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 8 weeks, 2 months. Okay, but Disney's speed is like 9 months, 14 months. It's fast for them, but not fast for the film industry, if you follow me. So they wanted super fast people, of which I'm one, because I'm carving and sculpting at tremendous speed, because I've got to do it in like 2 weeks to 2 months, whatever. So that's how I actually got looked at and finally got my interview for becoming an Imagineer. And that's how I've become Imagineer since 1987. But that's what I'm talking about. We can learn a lot about Imagineers and Disney legends because people want to hear from them. But what I love hearing from are, and that's why I love that Disney did this, is allows me to have a day at Disney and look at cast members. It's really a cool series. And I just, I binge watched the whole thing and I wish there was more. I just keep adding Disney because that is such a great thing to see. And talking about animators and talking about in-betweeners and people who do animated stuff. I just love hearing about people who are doing what I am not. So that's super, super cool. They also, somewhere, and I can't remember what it was, but they were talking about stop motion. And Henry Selick, who was the one who worked with Tim Burton and created Nightmare Before Christmas. So Tim Burton wrote it, but Tim Burton did not move the figures. Okay, he did not do that. That was Henry Selick and his team of stop motion animators, who also then did James and the Giant Peach. Okay. I worked with Henry on Monkey Bone, which is a movie that has a following, but I don't know why, because they changed it. Originally, it was going to be in Comatown, which was the state of the lead actor he gets in a coma and then he goes to a world that's like totally weird. And that's where I, as a puppeteer, had a voice and a character. And then the character of Monkey Bone is a stop motion character. So Henry animated him and that's where we met. He actually also invited me to go up and learn more about stop motion by visiting his studio in San Francisco, which I absolutely loved. So that's what I'm talking about. And this is what I'm loving about what I'm seeing. Not to mention that movies that I did for Disney, like The Country Bears, are on that channel now. Also, coming at the end of January, many of you have let me know, Dinosaurs, Not the Mama, Not the Mama, Not the Mama, is coming as well. And that has got me super stoked. So I did Team Baby Sinclair. I did 4 years of that series. I'm very proud of it, very excited that it's coming. And it's just going to be, that's one of the reasons I asked for it for Christmas, was that I want to view it on Disney Plus. It was my big hit series that I was on. I auditioned for a lot of hit series. I did a lot of pilots up to Dinosaurs, but Dinosaurs was my big win, my big hit, and it went on for 5 years. So I'm very proud of it. We shot over 100 episodes, and I got to be Team Baby all but the last year. So it's very super cool. And I was wondering, I don't see that I have it here. Forgive me for turning away. I just was thinking that I might be able to show you something. Maybe I'll do that at another time. But I did want to share with you that stuff. So now let's fast forward to, this today is kind of an update for you. What's happening? How do you feel about the new year? Feel free to comment on what you see for the new year. But it's also to give you an update. So for those of you who have ordered the Hitchhiking Ghosts, you got an email from me telling you that I was unable to deliver them in December. If you remember, I showed the ghosts before, and I talked about how I was going to work to have them delivered in December. We thought we could do it. When my team came down with COVID-19. Oh, doesn't this feel like a broken record? I'm so sorry, but production is not going to happen because of COVID-19. And I have to delay the ghosts because of COVID-19. And it seems to affect everybody in every way. But you all were so gracious and so kind to allow me to tell you that it may or may not be January, February. I said we were hoping for January, February. I am still hoping for that. But if you're watching this and you bought a ghost, and don't panic if you don't act on this now or you forget to message me or whatever. But what I want to ask you to do is I want to do a special Zoom call with all of the people who have purchased a set of ghosts. So if you would message to me a good time that, our evening's better, our morning's better, and what time during the day is better for you. I may have to do separate calls, but I want to get you all together and give you an update personally. Okay. And this is a good way to do it. Okay. Because I am this week going to reevaluate our situation now that we can hopefully get back into production. We are having some hiccups, and it's all because of COVID-19. If we don't have COVID-19, somebody else has COVID-19. And being in Southern California, we're in lockdown. Being in lockdown creates challenges for us because there's certain things that I need to have and get ready for in order to deliver you your ghosts. We are also being told by the post office that it might be good to wait a little bit before we ship because they are having their own challenges. Less people, more mailing, COVID-19. So these are some of the things that I am working with. The unfun stuff of owning a business, honestly, is this stuff. You know, I'd love to just sculpt and have somebody else handle it, but unfortunately, it's really on me, right? You know, it's not that you don't want it done right, if it could be done right, but I think out of respect for you as collectors, I want to talk to you directly, and you see from me, you know, you hear from me what exactly is going on. Boy, that camera looks a little weird. I'm just getting cranky now. There we go. I like that a little bit better. But that's what I'm going to do. So I will be emailing you guys later in the week. It won't be today, and it may not be until Thursday or Friday for a Zoom call that will happen during the week of the, hopefully it'll be during the week of the, we are currently in the week of the 4th to the 9th. It will probably be the week of the 11th through the 16th, if I can swing it with you guys. Okay, fingers crossed. We can get enough of you together on a Zoom call so that I can talk to you and I can get my act together so that I can give you the update as clearly as possible so that you guys can know beyond a shadow of a doubt when these ghosts are coming and more. So that is my quickie hitchhiking ghost update. I also have a new pin that I'm working with Josh Schaefer on. When I just sent the drawings, I did the drawings yesterday. I have a trouble resting. So you saw my book. So I have trouble resting and relaxing. And so this was my hit the ground running with things that have to be done, bills, food, grocery lists, taxes, blah, blah, blah. But also things that need to be done in the business, like ghosts. So if you've listened to these broadcasts before, you may have heard me mention the Cheshire Cat. Because I'm having this delay happen with the ghosts, the Cheshire Cat is also delayed, which is frustrating for me because I'm dying to sculpt that little guy. And he will be coming sometime this year, but I don't know when. Also, I wanted to let you all know that I'm going to finally get my Star Wars book out. And I'm working hard to get it on the calendar and write it so that I can release it during May 4th. So, because May the 4th be with you, blah, blah, blah. Star Wars terminology. So why not, right? But that's what I'm hoping to do, but don't know if I can do it. There's just so much my hands can do, and I keep asking for a prehensile tail to help do some of this stuff, and who knows. So my Jenga blocks are high. Taxes, and close the year out, and get this done, and get that done, and dinner, and walk the dog, and pay the bills, and blah, 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 along with Hitchhiking Ghosts. When does the Cheshire Cat come out? I'd really like to write my book. I really have content that I want to produce. I want to do a better YouTube. I want to get the website up. You get the idea. So rather than be overwhelmed and stand and do nothing, I just breathe. Every morning I breathe and say, what do I want to do? And how can I do it? And I'll do the best I can. And that's all I can expect of myself, is to do the best I can. Don't find myself immobile and binge watching when I should be working. And I gave myself that resting period between Christmas and New Year's, and now I'm ready to beat feet. I also at night write in a journal, and in the morning I write in a journal. At night I write things that I create. I do gratitude, and then I create an ask. So one of the things I really want to do this week is to clean my garage. It's not a 1 week endeavor. Okay. It is a huge mess in there. There's so much stuff in there. And my concern was that we were going to have a rainy season, and the weather just announced that for the next 7 days, we have no rain in the forecast. So this allows me to dig deep into the garage and get that sucker cleaned. And that would be great, because there are things I want to donate to charity, things I want to create on the Patreon page. And then there's also things that I want to sell. So I'm an antique collector, and I have a lot of beautiful antiques. And there was a man that at the beginning of the year, last year, actually it was in 2019, I connected with, and I have not reached out to him because I lost his information. So I wrote the ask in my journal 2 nights ago, and 3 nights ago, and 2 nights ago, I woke up at 5 o'clock in the morning with the answer. His name, his phone number, his website popped into my head after all that time. And I jumped up and I wrote it down, and then I sent him an email, and hopefully he's in a position, he's well, he's safe, and he's still wanting to buy stuff. We don't know. We'll find out. But we had saved a lot of things for my son, and my son is a minimalist, my stepson. He's a minimalist, which means he doesn't really want, with me, I really love or wish I had things that my parents had. So my dad at 13 created a cedar chest in high school, and my grandfather gave that to me. But before I could get it out of my grandfather's house was broken into, and they stole that, among other things. So I never got the cedar chest that my dad hand built in high school at 13 years old, which breaks my heart. And so when we created we bought an antique, which was a portable Murphy bed, which as soon as I can get to it, I will take pictures and show you what this thing looks like. It is so cool. But it's a portable Murphy bed that Lindsay, my stepson, Lindsay's son, my son, as I think of him, slept in till he was 12, and too big. He got too big to fit into that bed. It was great when he was 5 or 6, but when he hit 12, he was almost 6 feet tall, and he didn't fit in the bed anymore. And it folds up, and we saved it for him for his children. But he's kind of made it clear that even should he have kids, he's not going to want that. So, that kind of stuff just doesn't appeal to him. So I'm going to get it to people who will love it and take care of it. And this man says he thinks he can purchase those antiques and distribute them accordingly. But they are oak. They are turn of the century. They are 1800s. Okay. So that, pump era, where you've got the Hoosier with the glass, and you've got the rocking chair that's very ornate. Many of these things were things that I loved having while I was growing up in the world. I figured, why not buy an antique? And now I'm looking at these antiques and deciding which ones I'm going to part with that other people can love on and take care of, and which ones I'm going to keep. So it's just a matter of, is there a market for it? I don't know, but we'll see. I'm in no hurry. The key to selling things that you want to sell is when you don't desperately need the money. Right? Because you lay back and say, this is the price I want for it, and you can wait till the price comes. Or you can negotiate comfortably and say, I paid this much for this. This is what I want for this, and I'm willing to wait for it. This is true in art, if you've got a book collection, a Hallmark collection. I collect a lot of Hallmark ornaments I haven't even looked at yet, but they're in the attic, so out of sight, out of mind. I want to attack the garage first because my husband, who is going to retire in 2 years, wants a workspace. He wants an area where he can tinker, where he can play with wood and bandsaws and table saws. Me too. I love bandsaws and table saws. I have an amazing lathe that I haven't even plugged in because I have not set up my shop. So my exterior shop. So that's kind of what I would like to do. And main thing is get it clean. I have a lot of collectibles that I'm going to share in the treasure chest on my Patreon page because I really don't want to spend my life on eBay selling. So I'm going to share on Patreon, and we do a treasure chest every month, and I offer this stuff up to the people. I have to be kind of careful because across the pond, it's very expensive to send stuff over there. But the people across the pond, London, Paris, Australia, are willing to pay for the postage if they accept that gift. So they don't have to pay fully for postage. We kind of split it. I pay to a certain amount and they pay the overage so that it's not so that we share the expense because it has to go over there. But if it is, for example, the postage is a couple of bucks, I pay that because I have a top cutoff point for postage, and they'll pay the difference, and then they choose whether or not they want to accept the gift that they win. So, if they would rather have a pin, which is very easy to get across the pond, that's great. But some of them might want something bigger, and if they do, then they say, hey, I'd like my name to be, I want you to announce my name for the bigger stuff. So I always have a cornucopia of different things, some little things, so that it across the pond. I'm back. I know you had a long black time there and you were like, where'd she go? Where'd she go? This is because it's Monday and my internet is precarious. It is also coming up on 10:30, 11 o'clock. So this is because more family members. My husband's going to need the internet. So thank you for hanging in there and allowing me to play here to get myself back up and running. A glitch happens. I always apologize for said glitch where it all goes dark. And that's what happens. But you see, it's messing with me again. But let's jump over and hear your comments, and then I'll sign off because I did say I wasn't going to be here that long, but I did have a lot to share with you guys. Ask Me Anything is this Friday at 9:25, our usual thing, but go for as long as we can, and for a while anyway. I don't know how long is long, but now we'll go to the comments, and we'll see what other questions I can add there. Hello, happy new year, and thank you for the happy anniversary. Thank you, Caridad Gonzalez. I just like saying that. Mary, how are you, girlfriend? Thank you so much. I hope you guys are just rocking it out there in Herbaland. I love hearing from you. Hello, Julie. And Tim Gillette, thank you very much. Happy anniversary to me. Yes, indeed. I'm like doing the happy dance, right? Yeah, took a long time to get that guy. I'm very, very happy. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you very much. Barbara Campbell, thank you, my love. Thank you very much. I miss you too. Yes, I do. Bonnie Smith, yes, life can be overwhelming. And last year felt like, did you feel like a camel? It was like, that game where, the straws that break the camel's back and you're like, and for some people it was pretty nasty because their houses were threatened by fires here in California. We had a couple of earthquakes. Don't want to say that out loud. Don't want another one right now. If you're struggling, who would have thought if you worked for the airlines or you had a restaurant, it was going to be such a terrible struggle for you last year. So my heart goes out to you as things seem to just be added. I have the same situation where I sit here and I say it's a lot. And that's why I say kind of breathe and do the best that you can do. Because I look at frontline workers and I say, you guys are magical. You guys are amazing. The nurses, the doctors, everyone who has to keep going into work and exposing themselves as they help people do their best to help as many as they can survive this COVID-19 outbreak. I just want to tell you that I'm grateful that you're there. And I know your life is really tough, as some of us whine about certain things that probably are driving you crazy. Or maybe we refuse to do things that in your heart, if we did those, it would make your life simpler as frontline responders. I just want to tell you, I appreciate you and know that adds to your challenges, doesn't it? And as you said, it can be overwhelming. So it's just exhausting. Bonnie says she watched Claws, thought it was cute. I did mention Claws. Wasn't it cute? And Bonnie, I highly recommend you watch it again. I actually watched it once and then I watched it right away a second time. And the reason I did is because there are things in that movie that kind of tip you off once you know the full story. This is one of the reasons that I watch movies 2 or 3 times, because then I watch them with in my mind certain things. So one of the things I binge watched between Christmas and New Year's has nothing to do with Disney, but it's called Mr. Robot. And it's an amazing series. It's written, directed, and produced by the same guy. So you want to talk about a crazy experience for this guy. But what's really amazing is that this series went for 4 seasons. And you know how some seasons are a little weaker than others? Mr. Robot just gets stronger and stronger and stronger in story. It is an Amazon Prime channel that's got the 4 seasons on it. And if you're a Prime member, you just get to watch it. It doesn't cost you anything. But it is amazing. It is amazing. And you really, when you watch it, you'll be blown away because it is such a intricate yarn ball of story. This goes like this and it folds like origami. And I love stories like that. And the actors in it are amazing. And Claws has a similar feeling. It just has certain tips that once you know what the story is, you go, oh, I never noticed that again. Kind of like when you see, if you've ever seen Sixth Sense by Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan. You remember with Bruce Willis, and they show you and then they recap it and you go, oh my God. And then you watch it again and you see those incidences that you didn't necessarily see the first time because the story was unfolding for you. So this is one of the reasons that I like to watch movies a couple of times, because story is the thing I really like about it. So Bonnie, thank you for that. I really appreciate you taking a peek at that, because I just absolutely flipped over it. I just thought it was fantastic. Yeah, really fantastic. Thank you, Bobby. It is a bon anniversary. Yes, indeed. Amy, thank you very much. Yeah. Yes, so lovely. In fact, Amy Sandler and her lovely husband and us, we sometimes get together during that anniversary period and celebrate. And unfortunately, this time we can't do that, which is kind of a kind of a sad thing. Yeah. But, hopefully things will be, See, Andrew, how are you, my dear? Thank you for saying that you hope to see me sooner than later. I would like to see you too. The real fact of the matter is that we're going to have to do some social distancing and some mask wearing probably through October of this year. Dr. Fauci said, and I quote, hopefully we can save the holidays of 2021, meaning Thanksgiving and Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa, et cetera, et cetera. So if we bear down and we do our job and we fight the good fight and we stay diligent, we can, what he's saying is it looks like we can nail this thing about 10 months. Now, why does he say this? Really quickly, why would he say this? Because it's better. In fact, if you've heard people get upset, especially restaurant owners, it's like a caterpillar. They don't like to hear we're going to lock down for 3 weeks. And then, no, we're not. We're going to lock down for 3 more weeks. No, we're not. We're going to lock down for 3 more weeks. And they can't plan. And it's their livelihood. It's food in their mouths. And to be inchwormed like this is very difficult. So Fauci is saying, he thinks that if you have no extenuating circumstances, that the vaccine will get to you in the summertime. Meaning that could be anywhere from June to September, which means that October could be the final point because it's a 2-step process. And then there's a period of that the immunity happens, et cetera, et cetera. And then they're trying to figure out, are you a carrier and blah, 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 right? I don't want to spend a lot of time on this. But the point is this. It could be shorter. But Fauci is doing what I would do as a businesswoman and try not to make you a promise and then have to extend it and then extend it. That drives a person crazy. If you've ever supported a Kickstarter project, this happens all the time. We're so sorry, we were supposed to deliver it and blah, 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 but now it's not going to be until blah, or it's not going to be until blah, or it's not going to be until blah. I have bought this one thing for my husband that I'm real excited in getting. And because of the pandemic and because of things that happened before the pandemic, Kickstarter project, of course, it has been delayed. It was supposed to deliver, I think it was supposed to deliver over a year ago. And now it's like a year late. Because when you're creating things for you guys to collect, we do everything we can to foresee any kind of hiccup or problem, but we still get them. And so this pandemic was a heck of a hiccup. So for the ghosts, I love that you guys are being patient with me and helping me to understand that now we have this last year with the pandemic was just like, oh my gosh, you're trying to be a Smokey the Bear and prevent the fires, but little fires are popping up. You guys know what I mean. So absolutely, sooner rather than later. I hope so too. So there's a very good chance it will be sooner. And wouldn't that be lovely? But if we keep it in our mind that it's going to be October, the end of October, when we're going to be able to not do what we're doing right now, we'll settle with that. We'll plan for that. We'll do the best we can. And then hopefully it will be sooner. That's my dream and my wish for everybody is hopefully it will be sooner. Thank you, Nate, for saying you love the spotlights. I love them too, and invite anyone for $5 a month to join my Patreon page and be part of the tribe and share your voice with us, because everybody helps everybody in there on the private Facebook page we have. It's just amazing. And you help me too. I'll go on with you guys and say, I did a lot of that with Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, actually, as I talked with a lot of people before releasing Oswald because I wanted to know. Now, I also did it in public, but the early processes were done with my tribe. So if you're someone who thinks that they want to be part of that, please consider joining us. Nate says Janny's creations are incredible. That is absolutely true. And I skipped Stephen Golden. Forgive me, Stephen. Bridge, I did. Stephen loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. Loved it. My husband was kind of, it's not his thing. But Stephen, yeah. Loved it. I've been on Netflix for a long time, and I didn't realize that they had that top 10 that people watch. I finally because I don't watch a lot of TV. I've got to tell you, I'm working. So I can't watch anything new, or I'll watch it instead of do my work. So a lot of my chatter in the background is either the news or it's a movie I've seen like a million times. One of my favorite is Zatoichi, the Blind Swordsman series. He has probably, between the TV show and the movies, probably 30, 60 things that I can just keep running on a loop. I know the Japanese by heart, basically, and I don't even have to look up. I know the scenes. I can play them in my head while I'm sculpting. So that's kind of what I do. But this series is wonderful. Also, the one, what's the name of the one where she's a chess champion? Oh my gosh, I love that. Watched that twice. Thought that was great. So this one, this one is good. It's Monday. My tongue is seriously tied. Janny's Corrections, as I said, she's got some great work, and I'm sure you've seen her publicly on, she does post on Facebook. She's not exclusive to Terri's Tribe. She has her own channel, and she's amazing. We have some amazing people in that group. Nate says he needs to start watching Disney Plus. Heard about some great docuseries. Yes, documentaries. Yes, that you can be watching. And what I do, Nate, is because I work so hard, I take a lunch break of about an hour, and I'll pull up Disney Plus and watch one of them, because usually they're under an hour. So the shorts I can cram in maybe 5 because they're super short. And then I can watch a documentary that's about an hour. And if it's a little over an hour, then I stop it and get back to work. If you're working at home a lot of times, and this is what I did before the pandemic, you have to have that discipline. Okay. You have to stop. And I'm not saying I'm perfect. Please understand that I am as flawed as the next guy, maybe more so in some cases. If I get to working very hard, I forget to eat. This is not good. So I have an alarm that I set that reminds me every so often to intake food and drink. Because let's face it, as an artist, I don't want to poop, pee, eat, or sleep. Basically, I just want to do my art. So I have to do things that help me keep me healthy, because a healthy body is a healthy life. So, that's something that you got to do, and you got to keep yourself focused on that. So, and see, Andrew Nelson says he was the same way, ILM and LucasArts, slightly odd and perfectly wonderful. Absolutely. And, when we as Imagineers went to Disney and we were wearing our badges, we had our badges with the Mickey and the sorcerer hat. That's the emblem for Imagineers on the name badge, right? And then there's a castle or Mickey for cast members. Disney Channel has a different one. They're each different on the name badge. Well, my point here is that cast members, supervisors, when we would go to the park to do our research, would make us take our badges off because we're weird looking. And I said, we're weird looking. They don't want that guest to be confused. So our badges had to come off and be hidden. So, and every time we go, that's the policy. Unless, you guys have been doing your studying, which you do, and you'll recognize us without a badge. We don't need a badge because we're so unusual looking. Like Joe Rohde, for example, you could see him from the moon, right? And go, hey, look, and myself. So, people will recognize him, and we'll be friendly. We'll talk with you. We'll chat with you if you recognize us. We're not going to go, oh, sorry. We're working here. We can't talk to you. No, we love it. We love it. We're people too. It's so awesome. You really should watch. Nate, I hope your New Year's is starting out well. Yes, I'm sure it is because he's listening. He's visiting us more. I got Disney Plus as a Christmas gift from a new show, a friend of ours. So you too, huh? And I'm loving the shows you mentioned. Can't wait for dinosaurs. Thank you. Yeah, me too. Yes, there's some great scenes that I did, and I talk. Maybe what we'll do is once it airs, I'll talk about it. So, when you watch it, if you have questions, jot them down, and during the AMA, we can talk about dinosaurs as well. So, I'm happy to answer your questions. One of my most unusual experiences while shooting the show was shooting inside a toilet. Puppeteers are in the weirdest places when it comes to shows like that. So just if you got the question to ask, you can ask it. Thank you for the happy anniversary, SD. Christine says I'm her spirit animal. That's wonderful. I will continue to bring you good, positive spirit. That is so sweet of you. Thank you, Michael. Sandra Clark, goal is to clean out my son's childhood bedroom, transform it into a guest room, and make room for grandbabies and a crib. Now, that's a reason, right? And this is what's happening. If you aren't home a lot, and in 2019, I was barely home. I was traveling the world speaking and talking to a lot of you guys, and also colleges and kids who are at risk. It was a great year for being a speaker. It was really, really wonderful. But in 2020, those speaking gigs, I had decided I wanted to do less and stay home more because I didn't really get to see my family. But when you're not home, the house just starts to get out of control. My office became a catch-all, my office in the house. This studio became a catch-all. I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to use my drawing table, my illustrating drawing table, as a place to paint, illustrate, and draw. I can actually tilt it. I haven't been able to tilt it for about 5 years. To be able to tilt it in order to work on it, I can't wait. Use it like this for sewing, use it like this for puppets, use it like this, but I'm going to be painting, so now I can do this with it, actually put it on an angle so that my body is in the proper perspective in order not to get to damage by looking like this, right? For better physical alignment of my body. I'm set up. I'm so excited. And I got a new chair like this chair I have here. This chair I have here is a really nice, you'll see that the Imagineers have this chair. Actually, you can't tell because I've got a jacket over it, but I'll show it to you. It is an amazing chair. And once you buy this chair, you're done. You don't need to buy another chair. This chair is amazing. And I actually got one. Let me just cut to camera 3. It's right here. You can't really see it very well, but this is it right here. And I'm very proud to have it. I'm very excited to have it. And this is like a headrest on it. It has this cool headrest that adjusts to support my neck. And it's a great chair. Anyway, we'll talk more about the chair. When you get a chance, we'll talk more about the chair. But anyway, it's a great chair. So I invested in that chair and was really proud of it. So yay for you, Sandra, for getting ready for the babies. I mean, you're going to be so happy when that room is empty and repurposed. You're just going to feel so good. I can't tell you how my office is. I've got like maybe 15% more to clean, and I'm already dancing in there because there's floor and the books are on the book. Oh, you're going to love it. You're just going to love it. And I'm so excited for you. So I can't wait. Yes, we're going to have dinner. See, Andrew, we're going to sit and we're going to have dinner. That's going to be our big thing. I think I mentioned open a bottle of red wine and, sit together and maybe watch something cool, or who knows, we are working together to create content for this. And this is a big deal for me this year. And I pray that I can master it even better than I'm doing now. I have come a long way. That was my big move in 2020, was changing from a really professional thing where you can see, as I've shown you, all of the different cameras angles I have and the ability to switch between them. Well, if you watched me in January, this was not there. We built this in 2020. We created this in 2020, and then we had to teach me how to use it in 2020. And I've done really well. That's my big win for 2020. And I'm very happy. So now we're looking to do another big win, which is to optimize the content that I've been collecting for over 2 or 3 years. We want to optimize where I can find it and how I get it out to you in a timely fashion. So that's the goal. But as I've told you, we've got lots of stuff. So my wife is currently obsessed with Murphy beds. This is a darling one. Okay. See, Andrew Nelson, this bed is phenomenal. And I promise when I get to it, I will actually demonstrate it and show you guys and post it so you can see what it looks like. It's a beauty, but it's a portable Murphy. So it actually is about as tall as a installed fireplace. You know, you walk into the house and it has the hearth and it has the bricks, you know, Santa Claus down the chimney. It's about that tall. And then it opens like a cabinet. You can actually put things on the top, like little tchotchke things or a little train or little, you know, how you like to do your towns. It has that. It's about 18 inches deep. And you open the doors like a cabinet, and then the bed folds out in 3 parts. And a mattress lays in. And it's, you know, so the doors open and it boom, boom, and then there it is. And it's super cool. It is very, very beautiful and wonderful. So I will show you some of these antiques. Would you like to see these antiques? Please post in the comments if you'd like to see some of the antiques that I have and I'm getting ready to sell to others that may want them. From dishware that I have beautiful celluloid sets for doing your hair and stuff. Also, these beautiful teacups for when you have tea. Only I tend to like teacups, so I've got a lot of them. So now but there's some beautiful stuff. So if you're interested in looking at that stuff, if you want to see my rocking chair, things like that, just post in the comments and I will do a YouTube where I show you some things. Okay. I'm happy to do that. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jeffrey. You know, the honeymoon has never stopped. My husband, one of the things my husband and I did yesterday was to count how many years we've been married. So it's 15, 16 years. We were married in 2004. It's in there. 15, 16 years. We don't know. The honeymoon has just been going on forever. So we just basically, you know, just are happy. We mark the time as best we can. Just to take the time off and look into each other's eyes and say, thank God you found me, basically. So thank you, Carla. Ha ha ha. Thank you, Bonnie. Yeah, did you see that? I have to be patient. This is the thing that I learned last year with Mondays and the internet, especially since my husband is working from home. So he's on the internet. I'm on the internet. One of the things that they say I should have is an Ethernet cable, and I'm on Wi-Fi, which is why it's so precarious, they say. But we have yet to get an Ethernet cable out to my studio where I am. So that's something we're going to try to do this year. But with the pandemic, we can't get that installed because of the lockdown that keeps happening. Okay, okay, we're gonna no, you know, it's just nuts. It's nuts. I don't need to tell you. So it's hurry up, come here, get away in a lot. Hello, Peggy, and thank you. Thank you, Tammy. Oh, you guys are so sweet. I'll say happy anniversary. It's making it even more wonderful. Thank you, Janet. Bob. I understand my comment was out of context, referring to Disney Plus and A Day in the Life. It's a great series. And also Prop Masters. I looked at Prop Masters and loved that as well. Prop Masters is extremely interesting because I used to have a lot of it. And if I get the opportunity to show you the Star Wars collection that I used to have and sold, and then took my husband on a 1-month vacation in Japan, all expense paid, first class, because what I sold my Star Wars collection for, You're welcome to hear about that too. So you see, I've got lots of content. I just have to organize it so that I can get it out to you on YouTube and various things. So I hope you'll search me out. I hope you'll sign up with YouTube if you haven't already, and do me that favor. I really want to get as much as I can out to you. And as I mentioned to you before, it's not to be a YouTube star. It's just to let people look into my life and answer as many questions and reach as many as I can as possible. Thank you, Kathy Pendleton. That's so sweet of you. Yes, yes. A day in the life is just great. Oh, it's so good. I'm loving it. Queen's Gambit. Thank you, Kathy. Queen's Gambit. That's the other one. Yeah. I love that series. First of all, I love the costumes, the makeup, and the era. They really do a fantastic job. But also to make something like chess really exciting and interesting. I've watched some of these chess matches. They're not that exciting. But boy, they make it exciting. So if you like chess, I don't play very well. I did when I was in college. High school, actually, not college. When I was in high school, I played pretty good, but the thing is that in this one, it's about masters, and it's just the writer and the characters make it so exciting. It's good. It's good. It's chilling. Something I put in my watch list because I want to watch it over and over again. I love it. Thank you, Lynn Scarlett. I really appreciate that. Daniel DeMeyer, how are you, baby? Great to see you. Thank you for that. Sherry Langley, is your spidey sense tingling, Sherry? Sherry was my maid of honor, witness, etc. at the Hans Vaden winery where I was married. She came to be a witness. I was only allowed 6 people. She and her husband that worked with me on Foster Farms came, as did the chickens. They came too. She actually helped me get ready. She is an amazing friend. In fact, we were going to get together because I love her family. I just am crazy for her entire family out near Sebastopol. And I just really want to go and see her. And we were going to get together when, unfortunately, the pandemic hit last year. So we had to put it on hold. So I see the end coming, but I can't rush it. You know what I mean? So I really want to see her and her family. But we know if we rush it, we put people in jeopardy. And I don't know about you, but I don't want to be responsible for someone else getting sick because I'm disregarding what I'm asked to do. You know what I mean? So that's how I am able to do it. It's not a judgment. It's just how I deal with this don't forget a mask when you go out the door thing, Kathy says she binged her way through a day in the life looking for me. Yeah, I'm a little different because I'm a come here, get away, Imagineer. To have me on the channel is going to take a little effort by them. Many of the people you see there are full-on Disney employees. You follow me? So I am brought in, come here, get away as an Imagineer contractor. But I own my own business. I speak freely, and I can do things that many people cannot. So to put me on their channel, they need to have, you follow, right? They got to have employees. The employees are who they're featuring. So you'll get to see my work and maybe some behind the scenes on dinosaurs from stuff I did in the past. And guys, think about it. We might even get, and maybe you already know this, I am not privy to their lineup, but I'm hoping Captain EO shows up. Would it be great? It was one of the best experiences of my life. And again, once it does do it, if I can't be on Disney Plus to tell you all about it, join me here, sign up on my YouTube, and I'll share it with you there. Okay? So you have a link with me, and this is my goal, is to give you content that's informative and fun, and not me performing like a circus animal, but just sort of giving you a peek into my life in correct way, doing it properly. So that's my goal. Thank you for saying that, Kathy. So sweet of you to even say that. So nice. Daniel says he's doing fine. He said he was on the phone, and when he said he was live and say hi and say happy anniversary. And Daniel, my prayers are with you. I'm thinking about you. Did you get your certificate of authenticity for your Groot? I did mail it. If you didn't, let me know, because it should have been there a while back. But with the way the mail is working, I want to make sure you got that. Okay. I meant to hand deliver it to you when I hand delivered Groot, but what are you going to do? Right? Leo, hello. Thank you. For those of you, the AMA will be happening. The Ask Me Anything will happen at 9:25. Yeah, 9:25-ish on Friday. I will really work hard to be around and near 9:25. But if you have questions, you see Leo's name here. You can write in the comments and Leo will check it, or you can write to Leo. You can talk directly to him. Obviously, he's my friend. He collects the questions and stuff. I told him that I can ask questions myself of me if you're shy about asking questions. But honestly, I don't mind answering them. And Leo has been asking a lot of the questions himself because you guys have been shy. But don't be shy. Just ask what you want to ask. There's lots of new stuff coming up, and I'm happy to share with you. And also, I will bring in visual aid, visual stuff that you can look at so that we can maybe ask questions in the comments on that day as well, pertaining to what I show you. Okay. But Leo sends me the questions, and then I try to get the materials up so I can show you something cool and interesting. And many are asking me about books that I collect. I collect books. I love books, but not all of them are Disney. There's a lot of Disney, but not all of them. I'm a sculptor. So I have skulls that I use for my reference and my research. I have books that I use for my reference and research. Whenever I can get a first edition, I do. I'm not much of a fiction reader, although I like fiction. If I'm going to read, and it's rare, I want to read something that moves me, propels me forward. So I'm reading about, the life of a cheetah, if I have to create cheetahs, or I about tigers, or I love animals. So I'm always about, my own art was doing sculptures for the World Wildlife Foundation for a while. And I want to get back into that. I also want to do some more sculptures for charity work, but I want it to be my stuff. So there's a lot that I'd like to do. We'll see how much I get done. And I also want to write that Star Wars book, as I mentioned. So, there's a lot of things you want to do, but can you? Will you? You're welcome. You're welcome all the time. Lovely. And I'm so glad you got it. Yay. I'm excited for you to get it. So guys, it's 11:02. Let me just say, I'm so grateful to all of you. I want to thank you for joining me. I want to thank you for listening. I want to thank you for those who go after. Please share this video if you think it has anything that pertains to it. I've got some shorter ideas for shortening these and making them a little more palatable, but there's a lot of you people who have begged me to stay on for at least an hour, hour and a half. And I kind of think it's because of the pandemic. If you're stuck at home, we can kind of talk about the stuff, and I can share with you some entertaining things. So I will get better at that. I will do more every day, but at least you have these lives where we can kind of talk and kind of set the scene. If you've made a New Year's resolution, don't worry if you've already broke it. That's life in the big city, right? I have a lot of resolutions, but I don't really like to call them resolutions. I just have this list of things that I want to do and things I must do before I can play at the things I want to do. So I'll get off of here. I'll get my grocery list to my cousin who shops for me, et cetera, and do more like that. So I want to thank you so much. So I know, right? So now Leo's going to ask me Disney Plus questions, and you guys can ask me Disney Plus questions because Leo has been on me to get Disney Plus. And I wanted to get it when I could watch it. So I definitely got it before Christmas, and it's been lovely. So now I'll watch it in little bites. And if you guys have suggestions for me to watch on Disney Plus, you aficionados out there, those of you who bought it during D23 and watched it from its very beginning, feel free to give me a shout out, whether it's a movie, whether it's whatever it is that you love and enjoy. Please do that. That's how I found out about the prop one, is one of you kind of shouted out to me and said, watch that. So lots to talk about there. Absolutely. So I love you guys. You guys are the best. Thank you for wishing me a happy anniversary. I'm now going to go and enjoy that anniversary. I will, the AMA is this Friday. If you want to join the Patreon page, take a look at it, please. I would love for you to be a part of it. We have a Zoom call every Wednesday, and this is no different. We're going to have one on Wednesday. So I would love it if you join that. And feel free if you can't join it, or, whatever you would rather check out. That is a different thing. So let me go back to the lighting is teeny tiny. Okay, this is the one I wanted to give you, which is the Terri Hardin Speaks. My YouTube channel. So take a look at that. I did post some new content in there, but I'm going to get better at it. I want to get to the point where I'm posting something entertaining and fun for you guys on the YouTube channel once a week. But that's going to take time because I only have two hands and doggone it, no prehensile tail. Love you a bunch. Hugs and kisses. We will talk soon. Have a great day. I will see you this Friday at the Ask Me Anything at 9:25. See you then. Bye.